Hi, everybody, and welcome to Pop Therapy, a podcast where we explore the intersection between psychology and pop culture. There's so much to unpack, so let's get started. Well, look who's come back. Hi, everybody, and by everybody, I mean probably just my mom. Welcome back. So my prayers have been answered. There is a Buffy reboot coming to our television. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is coming back into your homes and into your hearts. I'm so excited. Although I have to say, it's a little bit of a misnomer. It's not really a reboot. They're not like redoing the Buffy story. It's an extension of the Buffy universe. So there's going to be like a new Slayer that Buffy trains and is going to be like her mentor or watcher. Sarah Michelle Gellar is like heavily involved. This show ended in 2003, and the rumors are true. I was a freshman in college when that happened. So I've been waiting basically 75 years for some kind of continuation. I'm so excited about that. So I just have to put that out there. And now I'm going to segue into something that's not as fun, but I've been seeing a lot of media coverage lately. And I don't know. So today, just for like reference, today is Sunday, June 8th. So by the time I release this, who knows what the state of things in this country will be like. So keep that in mind. But I've been seeing a lot of media coverage around lots of different kinds of folks basically feeling the impacts of Trump's policies, feeling the negative impact of his policies on them, and them sort of being like really kind of surprised by this. Like they seem genuinely shocked that his like immigration policies are targeting them, that his economic policies are negatively impacting and targeting them. And one of the quotes I'm seeing often is, "We didn't vote for this." And, you know, lots of different groups I'm seeing say some variation of this. But one in particular I kind of want to focus on are the Latins for Trump. And that is obviously because I'm Latin. So I feel like I can, you know, shed a little bit of not light, but like have a come to Jesus moment, maybe. You know, I genuinely believe that a lot of these folks, these Latins for Trump, thought that they were not going to be targeted. And I'm seeing a lot more Latin people realize that that is not true. And we're seeing a lot of brown people that are here legally, a lot of brown citizens that are law-abiding, tax-paying, following the rules, a lot of brown people that look like us being targeted, deported, detained, kids in fucking zip ties. And I'm hearing it over and over again, Latin people saying, "We did not vote for this." And just like a friendly or a respectful reminder, you did vote for this. You absolutely did vote for this. And I understand there's deception involved. I understand that you heard Trump say he was only going to deport people that broke the law or here illegally. And I get that you were deceived. But if you want to make better choices next time, you have to confront the fact that you did vote for this. That's the only way forward. You're going to have to put on your adult pants, and you're going to have to confront this. And you're going to have to sit with the fact that you made a decision that is really hurting a lot of people and you, and hurting yourself and your own community. And I just don't think there's a path forward until we confront this and admit that, oh, we fucked up. I fucked up. And maybe you were blinded by bigotry or his lies or hate, whatever it is. But you have to look in the mirror. And any kind of, "but I didn't vote for this," in my eyes, feels very like deflecting of responsibility. Very like, I'm going to distance myself from my choice of voting for Trump. And you can't do that. You have to own it. You have to take some responsibility. That is the only way you're going to heal and recover from this and then make better choices in the future. So please do the work of confronting that and owning that. So yeah, that's just been on my mind a lot. You guys, we are so freaking lucky to have the guest that we have with us today. you might have seen my guest posting some hilarious content on social media, playing different characters. Yeah, I'll ask him about Julissa and Megan. Don't worry. I'll ask him all about them. You might have seen him on TV, on shows like The Deuce, Queer as Folk, Station 19, Pose. You might have seen him co-hosting his award-nominated podcast, Tres Leches. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you've seen him in this on this teeny tiny HBO show, I think called Hacks, I believe. Really, really small. I don't think a lot of people have heard of it, but you might have seen him on there. Please welcome into your hearts, my dear friend, Johnny Sibilly.
I love that. Just
this little indie hit.
Yeah, the sleeper hit.
This
classic.
Yeah.
God.
I don't know if you've heard of it. I would love to hear your thoughts on the Latins for Trump tirade I just went
Oh my God.
because I feel like I've seen you also comment on this a few times on your platform. So yeah, what comes up for you?
What comes up for me is that I'm not new to this. I'm true to this in a way. Like I have seen the ways in which Hispanic and Latin people will adopt whiteness into their lives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of Latinos are white, so there is already that built-in supremacy that they have. But even Afro and brown Latinos really doing the work of the oppressor a lot of times. And it's not just here. It's also, in the Caribbean. I was thinking recently about how the Latinos for Trump could really find a villain in the Haitian immigrants that Trump was talking about.
Amen.
Because it brought them back to what they feel like their supremacy in their own land. So it's really unfortunate. It's also, I don't think that a lot of these people really see the way that a lot of white Americans look at them, see them.
Right.
They say, it reminds me of the Kelly Osbourne clip, who by all intents and purposes, is liberal. But she said, well, if Trump deports all the Hispanics, then who's going to clean our houses? Right. And I'm like, that is how they see you. Right. They see you as the help. They see you even for Hispanic gay men, for instance. These white men see you as the Latino lover. They don't see you as a fully realized person. So, and I'm not saying everyone, obviously, but these people that have these policies and do these things and vote these ways do see it. So when they're like, he said it was just the criminals, I'm like, yeah, because he thinks you're all criminals.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
To be Hispanic, to be Black in this country is to be a criminal, is to be lazy. It's all the reason why all these tropes exist, especially in media, is because they've adopted those ideas and put them out into the world. So it doesn't surprise me that people that cling to whiteness and its superiority vote these ways, but then they're like, wait, I'm confused. It's because they don't even understand themselves in the zeitgeist of it all.
Right. They've done very little reflecting and looking inward themselves. And you're right. I mean, any non-white person that adopts these sort of white supremacist views, you're basically doing white people's homework for them. Yeah. You're doing the work for them. You're taking the test for them. You are doing their homework, handing it in, and they're getting the grade. They're getting the A+, right?
It's very that is such a perfect way to put it, because it's like being the kid in school, you're the foreign exchange student, and then there's the popular kid, the white kid that's the football player sitting next to you. He's like, hey, you seem smart. Can I copy your... And then you're like, oh my God, he's going to invite me to the party. And you don't get invited to the party, babe. He was just using you in order to get the better grade.
Right. Yeah. And I really... And this taught me a really important lesson, or it sort of just widened my eyes a little bit more. But during the Republican National Convention, when Puerto Rico was referred to as an island of garbage, I was really hoping that in that moment, I could be like, see, this is how they look at us. Yeah. And the Simone Biles level mental gymnastics that these Latin people did I was like, oh, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. I really thought that all the, the like alarm bell ringing, and like they don't see us the same way. They see us as inferior, would all come to fruition in that moment. And it didn't. And I was just like, okay, well, like, here we are. And and I'm not convinced that even with all of these mass deportations, that even still enough Latin people are recognizing like, oh, this is because they see us all the same way. Correct. I mean, fingers crossed, but like, who knows?
Right. Because it's not the problem is that they know the population stats when it comes to Hispanics. Mm-hmm. And to be clear, illegal people that are here illegally cannot vote.
Right.
So, but they don't care about that. What they care about is that numbers are not in their favor.
Right.
And they can't deport the Black people in this country. So then who's the other biggest majority that they can deport and they can get rid of? It's like, and it's the optics of it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very much. Yeah. Because he has numbers that he has to hit. He has like, he wants to be able to say, oh, look, see, I deported X amount of people by this time. So it all feels very like a ramping up of that in order to reach whatever number he thinks he'll be able to brag about later on.
Correct. And the reason it's not, it's working, but also not working in the same sense is because of the digital age. Mm-hmm. If we didn't have the internet to show that there are people in El Salvador that do not belong there, we wouldn't know any better. We'd be like, oh, he's getting rid. Wow, I didn't even know there was that many people, crazy in this country. And it's like, but now we know because we have their family members speaking out. We have people giving cell phone accounts, so thank goodness for that. But it's working, but it's very scary the way that it's also working in their favor.
Yeah. A lot of folks ask me, mostly my clients, like as their therapist, will ask me like, what can I do? And I have friends that ask me too, but I don't know. And I'm sure you've talked about similar things, but one of the things that I like to say is there's that wonderful Mr. Rogers quote about looking for the helpers that I think is like lovely. Absolutely. I do like to add to that and say, also look for the fighters, look for the people whose sleeves are rolled up and they are out here just like brawling metaphorically and maybe sometimes even literally, just like, just out here, gloves off, going toe to toe with these vile, depraved human beings and leaving decorum at the fucking door. Like, we're done. We're over it. No more Mr. Nice Person. Like, that's it. Now I'm going to be mean. And I've been telling people, look for those people because they're there, like screaming, yelling, fighting, blowing up Tesla cars, shit like that. It's like, look for the fighters. And I've found that to be helpful too. It's like invigorating to see, you know what I mean? How have you been coping?
I've been coping with just trying to see the ways in which our democracy still does work, and seeing the ways in which, like the judges, even Trump appointed Supreme Court justices saying, no, I'm sorry, you're wrong about this.
Yeah.
Like that has been, which is so unfortunate that that's like what makes me feel better. But it is like, okay, the checks and balances are working. Like every demise for the Trump administration is a cause for celebration. Elon and Trump not getting along is a cause for celebration because it just further shows that they do not care about the American people. They never have cared about the American people. And unfortunately, sometimes it takes what's happening now for people to see it. I mean, there are still people that will bury their head in the sand until someone comes knocking on their door.
Right.
But I am heartened by seeing protesters stand up. And, unfortunately, this is where we are. And I don't know. It's hard because I could go to a place where it's like, well, we had all the evidence there to show that this is what was going to happen.
Right.
And people don't listen. But again, it's like, this is history. And if you don't know it and, you don't think about it, you end up repeating it. So I am happy for, like you said, the fighters and the helpers and the people that, despite voting the ways in which would have helped us, still said, okay, well, this is the politicians that stand up and don't shut up. I forget the gentleman running for mayor of New York City.
Oh, Zoran.
Zoran.
Its last name is M, but Zoran. Yeah.
Yes. Standing up to like Tom Homan's like freaking ICE bandits, really, at this point, and saying like, that's the kind of stuff that makes me hopeful for the future, because it's like we're not dealing with regular politics anymore.
Nope.
And I think that's the issues and what we've ran into, and why we're here in this moment is because we're not meeting fire with fire. We're meeting fire with a little tepid water spritz. Thinking that that's going to work. So.
And just to correct Zoran Mamdani is the gentleman's name that you're referring to. Similar, yes. Seeing him like yell at people, I'm like, please, more of this energy.
Because he's doing it on behalf of the American people, so we don't have to take to the streets.
Right, exactly.
We will if it gets to that. But to see leaders that we elect or that we want to elect stand up for us in that way, to see Jasmine Crockett say the damn thing, with all this, without all this red tape, is really invigorating. And it's like, okay, hey, great, that's what I want to see. This is what I want to see.
Right, exactly. So I was trying to do the math in my head, and I think, Johnny, you and I have known each other, I want to say like about 15 years.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Like
we could have a teen together.
Yeah.
Which is also so
new
sad.
sitcom. Yeah.
But look at us. We look good.
But look at us. I was also thinking one of my favorite like friendship memory moments with you was one day we went to some party in the Hamptons. I don't know. We went to some party in the Hamptons. And it was a pool party or something. There was a pool. There was a pool. Yes, there was a pool. And there was this long ass like spread, like crafts service spread of food. And it was really long. Nobody was there. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go over there and eat this. This looks really good. I'm standing there literally by myself at some gay ass pool party in the Hamptons. Eating, and you took a video of me eating by myself. And then you posted on an Instagram, and I remember you telling me, like, people were like mad at me. They were like, leave him alone, let him eat. And you were like, I am his friend. I just think this is funny.
I am that girl. She is
right. Yeah. You put that camera down and joined me at anyway. So, but I just remember that because it just felt so like, oh yeah, Johnny like sees me. He like this. He's very like, oh yeah, this is like what we do.
Right. Like this is. I always say, like I say, you meet the best people at the food table. Because you know what I mean. Like you really do, because it's like people that like have a personality. They want to eat. Like You know, I've never met a person who likes to eat with a shitty personality. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's so true. If you have like, I don't even need you to have like exquisite taste in food. You don't have to be like a foodie for me. I mean, my favorite restaurant is literally the Cheesecake Factory. So I don't need you to like.
Did you know that you can Postmates Cheesecake Factory?
Wait, no way. Where is the closest one to? I'll have to figure that out. Where the closest one to me is, but. You just opened up a whole, probably. You just opened up a whole new world for me. So thank you. If no one ever sees me leave my apartment ever again, it's because of this news, that Johnny just shared with me. I have been really enjoying seeing you like grow as a performer, especially. I mean, not to minimize, like I always knew you were a good person. Like I was never like worried about that. I was never like, oh, I hope he learns not to be an asshole. Like it wasn't like that. I was always like, oh, I just like want to see a good person be successful because it helps. I think not just me, obviously, but it does help me be like, oh, okay, there is like some fairness in the universe. You know what I mean? That like a lovely, talented person gets to do the like amazing work that you've been doing and gets the the like accolades that they deserve. And so it's just been so lovely seeing you from afar as a fan, as a friend. You just step into these roles, largely queer roles, which I love. I'm so glad that it's mostly queer roles that I'm seeing you in so far. Obviously, like
Right.
if you want to expand, you absolutely could, of course. But it's just been great seeing you like own that, because I feel like so many actors, for various reasons, you know, are afraid to get anywhere near roles like that. So how has it been for you, this like rise to stardom?
Oh gosh. Well, sometimes it feels like I haven't even hit yet, but it's nice to hear that, because that's, sometimes like the way the world sees you versus it's like that dysmorphic way of seeing yourself of like,
Hmm.
but also sometimes we wake up with ourselves every day and we're like, I'm like, I can be doing more. So
Yeah.
it's very nice to hear that. And I appreciate it. It's been really cool. I think specifically for me, because I started out so, I never had like a big breakout role or anything. Like
Hmm.
sometimes it feels like being on Hacks specifically,
Hmm.
let's say, would be a breakout role. And people might like, oh, he's new to this. And it's like, well, no, I've been doing it. Like I was a background extra. I did reenactment shows for Discovery ID.
Work.
I worked my way up to finally being able to do stuff like that. So it's been like a steady climb, but it's also, you really get to appreciate it in a way, because I remember when I was like driving to Jersey during the day to do a reenactment shoot. And then at night, I'd like come back to the city and do an overnight shift at the Hudson Hotel. And I was
Mm,
just exhausted, but I was so happy because I felt like I was going towards my dream,
right. What
So
were
it's been, yeah, it's
the
been good.
reenactment shows? What
Yeah.
like historical reenactments, stuff
Oh,
like
I
that? Or
wish. I wish that. Well, actually, I mean, the ones that I did were like super fun. Like they were like deadly affairs and like,
oh, wait, those are
yeah, like
fun.
yeah. So it's like, and then he killed his wife and da da da. But it's like me acting like a totally normal guy, and then you see me
Right,
like,
Eve turn evil. Yeah, yeah.
but it was fun work because it was like there was no lines to memorize. It was just kind of like
All in the face.
reenacting,
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was a really cool. That's why anytime that there's like B-roll when we shoot for like the TV shows that I'm on now, I was like, ooh, this is like my bread and butter, because this is what I used to do when I started. Is
Oh,
like,
right. You're like, oh, this is nothing. I got this
yeah,
already. Yeah.
totally.
It's
No
already like a
lines.
super
I got
developed skill.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hacks must have been, or must still be, among some of the more like memorable works you've done, I would imagine, just
yeah,
because of the like like the huge mainstream success, and like the not only are the performances so good, but the writing is so good, and it feels very much like the stars are aligning creatively to make
yeah.
this like insanely memorable piece of work that will forever kind of like, I feel like HBO will always like that, like Sopranos, Sex and the City,
Yeah.
like 6 Feet Under, Hack. I feel like it joins the ranks of those shows of like, oh, this is what made HBO sort of like people like sit up and be like, oh, who is she
Yeah,
over here?
HBO's that girl.
Yeah.
She's got good taste. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me
Um,
about working on the show.
it's truly one of the easiest jobs I've ever had. I mean,
Yeah.
if not the easiest, it is like being around a bunch of people who just really love what they do and love each other doing it.
Mm,
There's not any ego, and
right.
that's the thing with like Hollywood spaces. You do get a lot of people's egos, a lot of
No.
untherapy. Everyone's in therapy, but I'm like, who's the
Yeah.
therapist? Because
Is the therapist also trying to be famous? I always wonder that with celebrity actors. I'm like, if they're
oh
also trying to be famous, maybe, I don't know, get
yeah,
a second opinion, something. I don't
totally.
know.
Yeah, but Hacks is, it's also it came at a time when we didn't know what it was going to be. I mean, it was like we started filming at the end of 2020, so we are still in the height of COVID.
Mhm.
There was tons of restrictions, and like over the years, it's been so funny to see how the show has grown from season 1, where we like went to a premiere dinner, just the cast. Like it was like
Mm.
literally one table we could all sit at.
Oh, that sounds so like lovely and intimate. And like,
It
yeah.
was, and I miss it. We all kind of
Yeah, of
miss it,
course. Of
because
course.
it was just for us before the world got to see it. And then that from that to the second season where we had this big glitzy premiere at the Sunset Tower and everybody was there and we all had our own little sections for our friends and family. And I just remember thinking, wow, this is so nice too, but it's not like, we didn't even realize what it would be. And I remember the first moment that I was like, oh, people know about the show was when I was like at Nordstrom and this I'm assuming straight male he just gave straight. And we have the Spidey sense.
Yes, exactly.
And he goes, hey man, he opens the door for me. He's like, hey man, just got to ask, they bringing you back for next season? I was like, oh my God, not a straight man knowing who I am. Because,
that was a really good, if there's a casting agent listening right now, Johnny just did straight so perfectly off the cuff. We did not train for that. We did not practice that. That was in 2 seconds, Johnny was straight. And I was like, who's this straight man I'm interviewing right now? So book him.
I appreciate it. I don't know if I could do that for a long time. Oh my God. I tried and failed miserably when I was younger. Maybe that's why it comes so natural.
Yeah, it was like our survival technique for a really long time.
Code switching. Ooh,
amen.
But yeah, it's been really nice, and also just to see the ways in which like Jean gets her due and Hannah, and because they're really good people. Like you said earlier, it's like it's so nice when good people like good things happen to good people.
Yeah.
So I'm just so beyond grateful to be part of it, to be in the Hacks universe with really, really talented and cool people. And I go to work every day, like, well, not every day, whenever they have me, but just like a little sponge.
Yeah. There was one of the episodes I was watching was with you. You were in a lawn chair with your fellow castmates doing a scene where they were blowing up a hotel. They were blowing up a hotel, and you said something. I can't even. I should have like rewatched that scene again. So, because I have to like paraphrase. But you were saying something like, "Yeah, capitalism," and that one little. I was like, "That is why she is on TV." That 0.5 seconds that you were on there, I'm like doing a spit take in my living room, like bursting out laughing. It's just, I mean, it's just been like so lovely watching you. Are there any like memorable moments from being really on any show that you like hold near and dear to your heart, that you are like, I am never going to forget this moment, or I'm never going to forget this experience. It's like so meaningful or so like important to me. And like, I'm going to carry this with me everywhere in all the work that you've done. Take your time, because I can edit all the dead air, obviously.
two of them come to mind specifically. I think the first one is when I was on Pose, and I played Billy Porter's boyfriend who was dying of AIDS. Mm-hmm. And I remember like having to get ready for that scene. And like, I was like, what am I going to think about? What am I going to do? And I remember this specific scene too, like my character and Billy's character were not the usual kind of characters you would see dying of AIDS on TV shows. It was usually the white cis experience.
Right.
And now we were able to see a black and brown story being told in this way. And I remember I was in an acting class that took place at the LGBT Center in New York, which used to be, I think, St. Vincent's Hospital.
Okay.
Which is like the hospital's like right adjacent to it.
Yeah.
But that was a big hospital where a lot of people came and died of AIDS. And I remember in class, they would say like, not a prayer, but kind of like, let's hold some silence for the people that died in this place.
Like an acknowledgement. Yeah, that's so lovely.
And I just remember thinking, this story, this like moment that I had the privilege to tell this story for those people that no longer are here. And I just remember that being my guiding force when I did that scene. So that was a really special moment because, acting roles are fun and can be a lot. It's like you're playing make believe, but like when it has such a like historical and meaningful component to it, especially as a queer Latinx gay man, I'm like, this means so much more than just this job. And then another one was when I became a series regular on Queer as Folk, the not reboot, like you mentioned earlier, the reimagining of it all. I just remember thinking, because it was mostly queer people on set, and that is not how most sets are.
Right.
It's mostly like maybe like some queer actors and then everybody. that's doing like the behind the scenes is kind of like pretty straight and cis.
Oh, so like the person like holding the mic and
The boom mic,
and all of that. Okay, right. The behind the scenes folks are usually like pretty straight.
Yeah.
Okay, and
So
this was
it
different.
Huh?
This was different on Queer as Folk?
Right. This was different. Most of the people. Well, no. The crew was still pretty straight.
Oh, gotcha.
But there was so many like writers and producers and actors that were queer that we were the majority on set. And so it was so beautiful to see them come to terms with pronouns and, you know, and in a really inviting way. And I mean, this was in New Orleans. We shot in New Orleans. So there wasn't like, you know, and everyone was just like I said earlier, a sponge. They were just like, wait, so sorry, what is the difference between da 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 da? And it was like we were having, and it never felt like, oh, I'm coaching these people. It was like there was like a warm exchange. So that was something that again was like really special to be a part of and to feel like, yeah, we deserve to be here like this.
Right. And I love that you mentioned the openness from the crew members that who wanted to learn. It wasn't an insincere like, ugh, what are your pronouns? It was like a genuine curiosity. It was something that it sounds like it felt like way more earnest and open, which just makes it.
And I mean, they were at work, so maybe inside they could have possibly been like, this is so annoying. But the ways in which it was presented to the queer people on set wasn't that way. So I try and hold space for the fact that maybe they just did want to know.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember the first job I had where it was mostly gay people. It was when I was a therapist at Gay Men's Health Crisis. I walked into those doors. It was the first time, Johnny, that I had a job where everyone just assumed I was gay and not straight. And there was no coming out. There was no like, hey guys, actually, I'm gay. This was the first time that people were like, well, obviously you're gay. You know what I mean? What?
No, we know, girl. Thank you.
Yeah. Like, no, we know. Was it a similar feeling? I mean, I'm sure it wasn't exactly the same, but was there something similar going on for you on the set of Queer as Folk where the majority of the producers, writers, actors were queer? That they're like, did that feel different from some of the other sets with mostly straight folks? How would you describe that?
I would say, like, I think I felt I've been kind of spoiled because a lot of the sets that I've been on have been kind of queerish.
Okay.
If not majority queer, like Queer as Folk. But I think the reason it felt different was because of where we were, being in New Orleans, because we were all the leads of the show were queer.
Gotcha.
So there is a power in that because, you know, when you're number 1, 2, 3, 4 on the call sheet, people treat you differently. You know, just like when you have the corner office, people treat you differently. And to be those people, it also felt like it came with a certain level of responsibility because it's like, well, I don't want to have these positions and then treat people the way I've been treated.
Right. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, there was one really funny moment where with Chris Renfro, who plays Dadius on the show, where they came in and was like, all right, who's gay here? Raise your hand. And it was like, I could see, because we had a lot of background extras that weren't gay, but they played gay for the check, you know, gay for pay. And I remember there was like a couple that were like, I don't know is this good or bad? And I was like, you can't just ask.
Right.
Like very mean girls. And it was just so funny because I was like, clearly it's like Chris meant it as a joke and stuff. But I was like, wow, that felt powerful in that way to like kind of assert like this is our space.
Right. It's like we are in the majority. So yeah, like who's in this with us? Which
and it was
is so
funny,
rare
like,
for queer people.
There was a lot of like sex scenes in the show, and I remember one of my stand-ins was a straight man, and like, you know, super cool, and like they, you know, they would have to do like the positions that we had to do just to like get the lighting right.
Yeah.
And I remember one of them came off set and was like, oh my God, Johnny, the things I do for you. And I'm like, yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
You know,
get back to work.
Yeah, that's just what it is. That's the work. Thank you for being an ally, you know.
Were you, I mean, it sounds like you were. I was going to ask, were you happy with your stand-in? Because I've heard stories of actors be like, wait, that's what I look like? like a woman being like, oh, so who's my stand-in? And it's like this guy with wearing a wig, and they're like, oh, cool.
100%. Yeah, no, mine. He was a cute guy. He was like this white guy, like, but my height. It's usually about
Okay.
the height.
Oh,
And
okay.
and I remember one. I think one of my co-stars, Jessie. She's a trans woman, and one of her stand-ins was a man at first,
Okay.
and she was like, "Okay,
Right. I'm
you
not
guys,
loving this. Yeah.
this is really." And
Right.
they immediately were like, "Oh my god, we're so sorry. We didn't even like gotta." It was like
Got
more
it.
the height, but also like, how did you not think of that? You know?
Yeah, it's it seems so obvious to me, at least, and to you,
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
obviously. And I really try to remember, like, be gracious, be generous, and
Yeah.
don't take for granted the things like
Correct.
them, and other people simply don't. And I really try to like hold on tightly to that. But with also me kind of rolling
With
my
a
eyes,
bunch of
being,
queer people too. It was like, "Mama."
yeah, exactly right. It's a little bit of like, okay, come on,
Yeah, yeah.
come on,
Right. We've only got a couple. We got like 2 more strikes.
right.
Yeah.
So I didn't mention this earlier, but you're also the host of Spill, right? Which
Yes.
is Logo TV's YouTube
Yeah.
channel show. And you're basically like, I don't know, you're like a journalist. Like you're like an interviewer. Like like a journalist. You're like Barbara Walters
Oh my gosh.
or like a Good Morning. I don't know. It feels like you are, I mean, I don't know, like I don't know if you thought about this, but it's very to me like, oh, Johnny could be a daytime talk show host if he wanted to one day. How has that experience been? It looks like so much fun. Similarly to what you were mentioning earlier about like being around queer people when you're at work, I would imagine it's like a similar experience where there's like that safety that's involved and that like community, hopefully, that's involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like it's kind of like a blessing, and I wouldn't say in disguise. It was just it came at a time where I wasn't really thinking about being myself anywhere in the world. I was just like, I'm an actor, so hire me to be someone else.
Right.
But I had
We'll
Mike
unpack
Kelton,
that later.
Yeah, right. My showrunner, Mike Kelton, like reached out to me and was like, "Hey, would you ever be interested in being a host for like a show?" And this will just like show you the truth of my ego. It was like, "We'll build the show around you. Like it'll be all about what you want and da da da." And I'm like, "Yeah, I actually love that idea."
Yeah. That sounds really cool, actually.
And at first, it was an Instagram live show, and it was like a Logo Live with
Oh,
Johnny Sibley
right. Okay.
on their Instagram. And then we did good numbers, so they kept like moving it up. And then when COVID kind of like tempered down a little bit, we then started to do it in person, and then we turned it into Spill. So I've been doing it since 2020, and for me, it's
No
kind of been
way. Whoa, the time flies. 5 years. Wow, good for
5
you.
years.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. That's why I was like, always like, whenever we get renewed, I like tell Mike Kelton, there's like a RuPaul's Drag Race or a RuPaul tweet where she's like talking about Logo. She's like, "I'm keeping the lights on over there." And I always like joke, I'm like, "We're keeping the lights on over there."
Also, shout out Mike Kelton. What a sweetheart. I've worked with him before too. What a doll.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
So talented, so sweet. Like truly a kind individual where I'm like, if anyone messes with you, I'll kill them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just kind of like a place. What we wanted to create was a place where, because sometimes when you see queer celebrities go on to like, Tonight Show or something like that, their queerness is always such point of contention. Like it's always like, so how do you feel about Trump's enacting a drag ban? How do you feel about that? Which, don't get me wrong, those are important things. But hey, I'm just here to promote my single. Like, hey, Petra's like, hey, my album's called Slut Pop.
So yeah. Can we talk about Throat Goat, please?
Right. So Spill was kind of like my like our dream baby of like, what would happen if they didn't get asked those questions primarily? Like, what would happen if we were like, we asked Sasha Velour last season, like, what do you wear when you're around the house? And like, do you watch reality TV?
Yeah.
Because queer people don't get to have those joyous experiences where either teaching people or we're, reliving our trauma. So Spill is kind of a place to be messy. And, a lot of times we talk about sex a lot on the show because that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
Like, and those are the videos that do the biggest numbers.
Oh,
and
interesting.
I always get like people in the comments, this is why they don't respect us. This is why don't you talk about something more important? And it's funny because it's like, well, you're telling on yourself because one, you haven't watched the full episode, because we do get into identity politics and politics, but also the numbers are on the side of, are you a top or are you a bottom, David Archuleta? You know? So it ain't. We're just asking the questions that people want to hear.
Right. You are just giving the fans what they want. I mean, essentially, you know what I mean? And it is really fascinating to hear people, not surprising by any means, but it is funny to hear people say things like, you know, why don't you talk about something more important? As if sex, sexuality wasn't important, was not a part of our everyday lives. I'm like, babe, how do you think you got here? How do you think you are alive? You know what I mean? And so I find it fascinating how people mistakenly detach sex from importance or meaning. And they assume it is like, oh, you make it all your whole identity about sex. And it's like, well, it is about sex. So that's like how we're all here in the first place.
Right. And I think what a lot of queer people don't understand is that we are a lot of people's education of what sex could be if we took out all of the judgment. Because a lot of queer people have had to work through the shame of having queer sex. So when we celebrate it, we also show cis heterosexual people, you too can celebrate your body in a way that isn't tied to religion, that isn't tied to your self-worth. You know, that was a big thing that I learned. It's like, oh, my self-worth doesn't change depending on how many people I have sex with. I'm the only one that has the ability to change that and feel that for myself. You know, and I think a lot of people do see sex for this like Judeo-Christian like lens. So they're very much like, we don't want to hear about this anymore. I'm like, no, you don't want to hear about it within you.
Right.
You don't want to unpack what's going on. And, you know, not to say that's everyone's experience, because some people are like, I have so much sex in my life, I don't need to see it here again.
Fair enough. Which I'm like, okay, fine. But then at that point, it's like, okay, so change the channel.
Keep moving.
Right.
Oh my God. There's, you know, Brittany Broski?
Yes.
He has this amazing clip where it's like, sometimes I just want to strangle people on the internet because I'll be talking about my mom's apple pie or lemon cake, and the people are like, well, what if I can't eat lemons? What if I don't like lemons? Well, then fucking scroll. This is not for you. Not everything is for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, say that louder.
It is so shocking to me how much like prefacing one has to do, or how much like it's like, I didn't think I would have to explain to you that when I am talking about a recipe that requires peanuts, and if you're allergic to peanuts, I didn't think I would have to tell you, don't make this.
Yeah.
But it is so wild to see how people get so fired up. Like, I'm allergic to peanuts.
Yeah.
I'm so
like,
pissed.
Hey, do you have a substitute for the peanuts, though? It's like, no, I'm not a fucking chef.
Right.
And you're not paying for this recipe. Like, go, if you need that, like, also, you are the one with the allergy. You should know the modifications that you need.
Yeah, or just Google that if you really want to know a substitute. But it's like, I'm not making this peanut cake or whatever. I'm like making something up. Is there a peanut cake? I'm not
Honestly,
making.
I'm like, I would
I'm not telling you to eat this peanut butter cake because I want you to die and go to hell. Like, it's like I'm talking about this for people who don't have a peanut allergy, obviously. So it's really, it blows my mind every time. Like me seeing conversations online and like from a distance, and I'm just like, I can't imagine what it must be like to be the recipient of that kind of those kinds of comments.
Yeah, I just thought how unhinged it would be because I'm allergic to cats. And like every cat video, if I commented like, but like, what if you're allergic to cats? Like, what? How can I live like this? But like, it's like, sorry, you know, it's like, huh?
Hi, I'm deathly allergic to cats, so I'm really concerned about you posting this video.
This content is triggering.
Wait, now I do kind of want you to do that. Just go on every gorgeous cat video and be like, I'm allergic. Yeah, that would be great.
My eyes are itching just looking at this video.
Yeah. But what has been one of your most memorable guests on Spill? Doesn't have to be like your favorite by any means, but just someone that sticks out, and why?
Oh gosh. Three that come to mind. Well, I think this is probably the first time I've ever said this, but I do favor my trans guests over
Hell
all
yeah.
of my other guests.
Hell yes.
When the dolls are on the show, I just am so happy. One, because I always credit the dolls for making me a better gay man because of like showing me like you have to care about more community than just your like very specific experience. So when I'm with the girls, it's just like a key. So I think three people that come to mind are T.S. Madison, because T.S. Madison is just a light and a joy in this world. And most people say yes to doing the show because T.S. Madison has done the show.
Oh, wow. It like almost like legitimized it?
Yeah,
to
100%.
some
and they've seen her clips and they've seen how much fun she's had. And are like, I watched, oh no, don't worry. I watched T.S. Madison's interview. I know what the show's about. And I'm like, wow, I love that. Laverne Cox is another one because Laverne and I go way back. And Laverne is such a pillar in the community in terms of representation and whatnot. So it was really cool to have her on the show. And she was one of those people who's like, oh, I saw the Madison interview. Yeah. And she came in and she showed us a side of herself that you don't often see with Laverne because she is so poised and, highly educated and gorgeous. And then Trace Lissette, which is my best friend. It was so nice to have her there because I feel like sometimes people don't give Trace as many flowers as she deserves. So it was really nice to like have her in my home in that kind of way. Yeah. To do that. And I just love her so much. And, the three of them are really big, to me, really big voices especially in the media landscape of LGBTQ plus representation. But yeah, there's and the gay men are always so funny because everyone's always like in the comments, like, they definitely fucked after this. They definitely.
Oh my God.
I'm like, Jesus.
Okay, that is one instance where I am going to have to be like, why does it have to always be about sex? That's like one instance where I would be, where I'm suddenly Christian. Yeah. Would those, one of the things that I respect about you so much is how often you use your voice and your platform to highlight, to talk about trans issues. And, as a cis man, I don't want to center your voice around this issue, but I would love to hear if there were trans activists, besides the ones that you named, if you had any that you think we should be listening to, reading, watching, keeping an eye on. Who should we be, keeping our eyes on and listening to?
Oh gosh. Okay, so right now I'll give you three. There's Gabby Tuft, she used to be, I think she still is, a wrestler.
Okay.
She used to be a wrestler. She's a big TikToker, and she's also an online trainer. And her videos have really, she like goes through the grocery store and she'll be like, okay, let me give you my 5 best things to eat if you're on a bulk or a cleanse or da-da. And she uses all of, but the three people I'm going to say also, what's important to me is that a lot of times people follow like trans activists or trans actors, but they don't know trans people outside of that. And I think Gabby is a really great resource because not only are you subscribing to a trans woman, but you're putting money in her pocket. You're showing that this trans athlete is worth investing in.
Right.
And that changes culture overall.
Right.
If Gabby is one of these people, one of these main people that everyone's going towards, whether they're in the community or not, I think that's super important. Another one is, her name's Kay Poyer.
Okay.
She's on TikTok. Her takes on everything are just so clear, concise, funny. And I feel like the ways in which I love when a creator takes a really complex topic and makes it real easy for a bitch to understand.
Of course.
You know, like
Yeah.
I love that. I also, the dolls are some of the funniest people I know. You know what I mean? So I love when I see one of the girls online just truly being hilarious.
Yeah.
Because that's also a remedy for this lack of representation.
Right.
And then the last one is Dominique Morgan. She's also on TikTok, but she's an activist like through and through. I met her through TS Madison when we did the TS Madison logo honors.
Okay.
And she helped TS Madison start the TS Madison Starter House, which is a place for women that have been impacted by the system or, you know, incarcerated, that they can apply and come and basically have a second chance. So she's really funny. And she also talks a lot about pop culture. She's a Black trans woman. So there's a lot of experience that I think non-Black people could get from her and see. So yeah, those are three just that I've been really into lately.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I've said it once and I'll say it again. Trans people, especially Black trans individuals, basically like created the culture that we are familiar with today. I mean, I think almost all roads lead back to Black trans individuals, or most roads at least. And so like most things in culture that we all enjoy, or things that are, you know, catchy phrases, or things that are really sharp or witty or funny that you hear someone say, I'm like, most likely Black trans women like invented that. So I really appreciate you giving us, you know, the names of folks that like we should be paying attention to. I think that's really important, especially for the sake of like understanding the culture that we're in at large.
Correct. And it's like, you know, I don't follow these women because they're trans, but their transness only makes the follow that much more like work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
Work. Period.
Yeah.
So Johnny, there's a question that I ask all my guests. Oh my God, I've had like 2 so far. And that question is, what is a piece of advice or a nugget of wisdom that you've gotten from the mental health / therapy world? So this could be something that your own therapist has told you. This could be something that you saw a therapist on TV say, something you read in a book or a podcast, or something you saw on TikTok from a therapist that you thought like, I am going to take this with me everywhere, or this is so important for me to remember. You know, I want to live by this.
Okay.
What's that?
So
for
my
you?
answer is 2-pronged.
Let's do it.
Because I have like a good and a bad.
Okay.
The good also comes in as a sort of a read. I think at some point my therapist asked me, okay, but what are you getting from this?
Work.
And I thought, because it was like, I was like, oh my God, face crack of the century. Because sometimes when we go into therapy, we're like, and then he did this, and then I did this, and then he did this. And it's like, okay, but what about this is working for you?
Right.
Because you keep going back. There's like this kind of and what about it in your own mind, despite the person being there, is working for you?
Right.
What about you saying that you are not desirable is working for you? And then that, you know, I love questions like that. I love prompts like that. Like one of my biggest things that I ask people is, but why?
Right.
You know, and that's like a lot of us.
So simple, but like powerful.
Us as children, we're always like, but why?
Yeah.
But why? We're so curious until we're like banged down by like, well, that's just because it's this way. That's just the way it is. And I thought that was such a wonderful thing from therapy that I was like, now every time there's a sort of friendship or a relationship or even, you know, space that I'm in that I keep going back to and feeling like a sort of pain or like a misunderstanding, I have to sit with myself and ask, okay, what about me going back to this is what am I getting out of it?
Right.
Because sometimes I'm getting self-pity. I'd be like, well, that's why nothing's working, because the world hates me because da 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 da.
Oh yeah.
Instead of saying, maybe I'm wrong. maybe the world does love me.
Right.
Maybe I'm over here thinking that the world doesn't love me because that's what I'm used to thinking.
That's the narrative in your head.
Correct.
That you've like held on to for so long. And then like confirmation bias, right? We look for the things that support that narrative.
Correct.
For sure. Yeah. And there's a lot of, paradoxically, there's a lot of like comfort and safety in that. Even though the narrative is mean, like
bad,
or critical, there is a safety and comfort in being like, oh, see, I'm right. I am unlovable. I'm not desirable. Everyone does hate me. Like there is something comforting about that when that's the narrative.
Yeah, because then there's an answer. There's like something concrete. You're like, oh yeah, well, because I knew that because I've lived my life. I know better. It's like, but what if you don't?
Right.
What if you actually haven't opened up the treasure chest of possibilities that you're ignoring because you're feeding yourself bad food, And I mean that metaphorically, not like actually eating bad food. But also that could be part of it.
Yeah. I had a colleague years ago that used to say, there is function in the dysfunction.
Yes.
And I loved that because even in something that is dysfunctional, maybe it's like a relationship that's just like abusive or just like unhealthy, there is something that's functioning there within the dysfunction that we often want to maintain for the reason that you just said, right? Like to reinforce a narrative or
to not really dig deep. Like one of the things is, since we're both Latin men, one of the things that drives me crazy about our community is like, well, that's just how I am because I'm a Latina or I'm Latino. I have so much passion.
It drives me nuts.
We're just toxic. We're just toxic. I'm like, no, you're not doing the work of uncovering what is beyond that toxicity.
Right.
You're resting on like the same way people are like, well, I'm just a Virgo. So, I'm type A. It's like,
yeah.
like you're getting something out of that. And what is it?
And and I tell clients this all the time when they say things like that. And I'm like, if life were that simple, I would be out of a job. There would be no, and I say, I wish it were that simple. I wish it was as simple as, well, I'm Latin, so I'm just like really angry and passionate.
Yes.
Like
oh my God.
Life would be so easy. It was just that.
Speaking of being out of a job, my second thing, because I said it was two-pronged, my second thing that therapy has taught me is that everyone needs actual therapy. And what I mean by that is in the information age that we have, everybody can look at something online. Like there's one specifically that really gets me going, and it is, you don't owe anyone a response.
Oh.
And it's like, I hate when something that without context can be used as a dagger, as a knife, as a shotgun.
Yeah.
And there's so many terrible people that I see share infographics of therapy speak that I'm like, hey, babe, the narcissism is inside the house with us.
It's also like, that's not for you. That wasn't for you, actually.
Correct. So it's like, that is my thing with therapy. I'm like, therapy has taught me that therapy itself is, it's for everyone, but everyone actually needs to seek their own therapy rather than generalizing therapy speak or a video that you might listen, the TikTok might relate to you, but you have to have the like backup from someone who's licensed, a clinical person, like someone who has the authority to speak, because if not, we're all Joe Rogan, what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's like when people post things like, if you can't accept me at my worst, then you don't get my best. And I'm like, maybe, but are you being terrible to the person? Like, are you being
what is your
terrible?
worst?
Yeah, what is your worst? Like, if your worst is bad morning breath, fine. But if your worst is like you are actively treating someone like garbage, then no, that's not.
No, sorry.
I'm so sorry, babe. That's not how it works. I try to tell people, if something resonates with you on social media, that's fantastic. That is a finger pointing you in a direction. That's not the answer. It's not the solution, and that is not therapy. But it is pointing you in a direction that you need to like go explore much further. And so that can be great. Like if you see something on TikTok that it's like, I'm autistic and these are my symptoms. And if you're like, oh, I think a lot of this resonates with me, the next step is not to say, okay, well, I'm autistic. The next step is to then be like, let me go look for someone who diagnoses people on the spectrum. Let me go work with a therapist that specializes in neurodiversity. Let me go, like, that is the next step. It's not to immediately attach yourself to that, or even over-identify with that.
And I also can just hear now, someone listening to this, it might be you, whoever you are, thinking, well, therapy isn't accessible to everyone, right? That is something I've heard from people in my life.
Sure.
I feel like that is also something that people put up as a placeholder for not having to do their work, because there is lots of resources for people who can't afford out of network. Some people don't have insurance. But that also takes research, that takes
effort,
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is
effort. Yeah. No, that's so true. And you're absolutely right. And I think it is worth noting that a lot of therapy is cost prohibitive. A lot of it is inaccessible. And that does not mean it's impossible. Like, you might have to put in a little bit more effort than someone who does have insurance or someone who does have a ton of resources. Fair enough. But essentially, like, you are worth the effort. So
how many drinks did you have this weekend?
Right.
How much is that? How much is that Starbucks? You know,
how much is your Equinox membership?
But, yeah. Right. Oh, you go to Equinox.
Oh, interesting.
Working on your body. Work on that mind.
That's exactly right. And what I also like to remind people is that there are a lot of therapists, me included, that accept sliding scales. Like, I have seen clients for as little as $0 all the way through my full fee, which you can find out if you want to work with me.
Yes.
And everything in between. And I've had clients who have lost their jobs, and I'm like, don't worry about it. I will not charge you until you get back on your feet. So there are plenty of therapists, but you have to be willing to ask for that. Like, you have to be willing to say, like, hey, this is all I can afford. Like, can we work something out? And there are some therapists who will say no. Like, and that is their right. It's their business. But there are plenty that'll be like, yeah, I'm more than
And
happy.
that just means like dating. That's not a therapist for you.
100%. Right. Next. Exactly. Thank you so much, Johnny. This has been such a pleasure. I always love chatting with you. I feel like this is so cheesy to say, but I feel like I've always felt like we were on the same page about just so many, like, from pop culture to politics to just like interpersonal dynamics to friends. I'm always like, yeah, we're pretty, like, I know Johnny and I pretty much see things the same way or like very similarly. It's always made conversations with you feel like so just like fun and informative and meaningful.
Thank you. Likewise. Every time I would see you out and I'm like, oh, I think also because you being a Latino gay man who, like, gets it, like, is funny and like social, and it always made me feel like, oh, there's my brother. Like, you guys don't get what we get. You know what I mean? Like, we see it different a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Every time we would see each other, I feel like we would always kind of like find each other and then just like tap 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 tap, like chirping at each other, like in a corner somewhere. Yeah, that I love that. Oh, and you are in Austin right now.
I'm in Austin right now.
Right?
I'm in my bi-coastal area. So
what a lovely city. I love Austin.
Oh, I am obsessed with it. I could do a whole episode about Austin. Yeah, it's a really sweet place. The food is great. The people are really nice.
Oh, that's good to hear. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when rents are cheaper, sometimes people just like have more time to be nice.
Yeah. Go figure. Do you hear that in New York City?
Yeah, exactly.
You hear that? People are nicer when they can actually afford to live there. What a concept.
Crazy.
That's so crazy. Thank you so much again for being here. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, not Twitter anymore, too toxic. But yeah, you can find me there, or you can find me on a TV screen near you.
Hell yeah.
But my socials are just my name, Johnny Sibilly.
Lovely. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Keep in mind, I am a therapist, but this podcast is no substitute for good old-fashioned therapy. So take what's useful, leave the rest, and always remember, therapy makes you hotter. Bye.